What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a collaboration beer, this time between the Other Half Brewing Company out of both Brooklyn and Rochester, New York, and the Cellarmaker Brewing Company out of San Francisco, California, and this is their So they are calling this an Imperial India Pale Ale coming in at 8.4% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is just under 5 weeks old. So they're brewing this with Citra Cryo, and what they are saying is an experimental Citra product, whatever that means. They're also using Enigma, Dorado, and I believe Tomahawk Cryo hops. So a lot of hops in here, a lot of experimental Citra Cryo, all kinds of crazy hops in here. So this is the second beer that I am reviewing from Other Half and Cellarmaker. The other one was their bourbon barrel aged barley wine called Kentucky Tuxedo. I reviewed that over on Matt over at Massive Beer Reviews channel, and yeah, that was one of the best beers I've had this year. It was absolutely phenomenal. Both Matt and I just loved it. We were surprised at how good it was. So I have high expectations for this beer. Then again, yesterday, Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews texted me and was like, "Hey, have you had this one before?" And I was like, "No, I plan on reviewing it this week." And here I am reviewing it, and I was like, "Why? Is there something wrong with it?" And I was like, "Is it bad? Did you not like it?" And he's like, "No, it's not that. And I just wanted to talk about it." So something's going on with this beer, Kyle. But he won't tell me until I review it. So I figure I'm going to review it. I'll probably text him. But yeah, I'm curious to see what he thought about this one because I don't know. I haven't had it, and I'm curious to see what I think about it. So anyway, let's crack it open, pour it into glass, see what we got going on. So like I said, that Cellarmaker and Other Half barrel-aged barley wine was just bonkers. It was just a, as Matt likes to say, core 4 beer. And it was aged in bourbon barrels for, I think, a year, and it was just fan-fucking-tastic. So yeah, anyway, pours out like another half beer. It has this orange honey color, about a finger and a half, 2 fingers of a creamy off-white looking head, very turbid and murky, plays the role. Let's get a nose. Wow, it's really nice. There's like a sweet dankness to this one. Yeah, so a lot of like upfront, a lot of like, I'm getting passion fruit and tropical fruit and stone fruit, and it's sweet. Not quite to the candied level, but definitely sweet. But then there's this really nice like dankness that's mixing in with that sweetness, and it's giving me like a sweet dank profile. There's like a melon rind in here, like a honeydew cantaloupe melon rind. A little bit of like a red berry component as well. And there's a slight distinct earthiness to this one too. This is actually all over the place. I can smell a little bit of the ABV at 8.4%. It definitely has a little bit of an alcohol kick in the nose, which is a rarity from another half beer. Yeah, it smells pretty good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Let's see what Kyle was talking about. Very weird. In the nose, a lot of sweet tropical and stone fruits. That dankness, a little bit of earthiness. It smelled like a sweeter beer, like a fruit bowl of awesomeness, as I like to say. In the taste, though, really reserved. First thing I can say is 8.4%, I can taste the alcohol on this one, even at 5 months. Like, sometimes fresh, some of these New England style IPAs, they like punch in the face with all kinds of flavors. You can get, the green astringency, the hot, so-called hot burn. Sometimes the alcohol is prevalent and that dies out after a little bit. This one at almost 5 weeks old, it definitely has an alcohol kick on the palate. I'm not getting it so much into the chest and into the stomach, like you would feel as it goes on, like you're drinking a big beer, but it just has like an astringency to the alcohol that I rarely get with other half beers. And the taste is more of like an earthy, slightly vegetal, dank kind of taste to it. There are fruits here, but more of the fruit component on this one is more like rindy melon, like peppery mango skin, things like that. The body 8.4%, medium body, a little bit thin, but I'm cool with that. The mouthfeel, maybe not as luscious and delicate as a lot of other half beers are, but it's still a really nice mouthfeel. Smooth, soft, slightly creamy. There is carbonation, so you know it's a beer. But the taste did like a 180 from the nose. Now, I don't know if that's exactly what Kyle was talking about, but for me, this is really weird in the taste. Yeah, there's alcohol stringency. There's more earthiness, dankness, vegetal kind of matter with like underlying fruit components to this one. It finishes relatively dry with a low to moderate bitterness. I feel like if you're somebody who likes either like old school West Coast style or even like English pale ales that have more of like an earthy vegetal type of deal to it, I think you would like this one. Now again, somebody might comment on this video or talk about this one like being completely different than what I'm tasting. And again, I'm having this one at 5 weeks, so if you drank this 2-3 weeks old, maybe this has changed. It's not bad whatsoever. Like I actually kind of dig I dig the characteristics being so much different than like so many of other half beers where they're just tropical stone fruits, crushed pineapple and sweetness and so on and so forth. Those are great. Juice bombs are great. Just a super juicy and like fluffy mouthfeels and all that's great. This is reminding me of like an old school like East Coast IPA where getting some earthiness and like some dankness and stuff, but it's not full on juice. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. Weird in a way that I didn't really think it was going to be weird. Maybe it's that Tomahawk. Maybe it's the experimental Citra product that they talked about. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but I will say that this is not my favorite double IPA from Other Half, but it's not a bad beer in the least, and I'm really enjoying, like I said, the switch up here from their norm. That said, I can't give this higher than... Yeah, so I'm going to give Imperial IPA from Other Half and Cellarmaker. I'm going to give this a straight 3.75 out of 5. For me personally, I do enjoy bringing up the monotony of the juicy, fruity, crazy, sweet Other Half beers, but I feel like after this can, I'd be one and done. I bought a 4-pack of this, but I left a couple cans at Matt's house when I went to the 2019 East Coast Beer Tuber Palooza. That's how Kyle brought one home. I brought 2 back. I have one for my buddy Jeff, aka No Jinx. I'm going to send him. For me, this is one of the least impactful Other Half beers I've had lately. And while I appreciate the difference in the characteristics and the qualities of the beer, I shouldn't say qualities, in the characteristics and the flavor profile, I still prefer the other. I'd rather have this be, more of a fruit bomb and juicy. I feel like Paul over at PA Brew News would really dig this one. To me, it's very earthy and dank and just not super fruity. In the taste, fruit-wise, I'm getting, like I said, more melon rind, a little bit of like a nondescript red berry, some slight like citrus fruits, grapefruit and orange, maybe like a mango and a peach, but like it's a peppery mango skin, not really the juice part. So this is different. This is a different beer. So I can't wait to see what Kyle thought about this beer and how different our palates are and how he reviews it. But he was talking about how he was curious to have somebody else's opinion on it. And my opinion is that this is a good beer, but for me, one of my least favorite Other Half beers that I've had recently, and one that I don't think I'd recommend this to anybody unless you have had Other Half and you know what they're all about and you want to try something different. But for me, this just isn't hitting me as much as I thought it would. So kind of disappointed. Good thing that Kentucky Tuxedo from these two just blew my doors off. One of the best beers I've had this year because this is a bit of a disappointment. Although at 3.75 out of 5, I still think it's a pretty good beer. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble now. Price point on this one, $20 a 4-pack, $5 a can. I wouldn't pay that again for this. Honestly, I wouldn't personally pay for it. If this was like $3.54 a can, sure. But at $5 a can, that's expensive. Availability, brewery only unless you have a bottle shop in New York, or let's say you trade for it. Obviously, you can get it, but if you just want to buy it retail, it's brewery only, either at Rochester or Brooklyn, or if you have a bottle shop local to you that goes to Other Half, either the breweries and bring stuff back, then you can grab it. Outside of that, you got to get it at the brewery, which I did. So anyway, that was from Other Half and Cellarmaker, 3.75 out of 5. Solid beer, but Not one of my favorite from them. So if you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. Kyle, I'm going to be checking out your review, buddy. Although you probably post this way before I do. I'd imagine I'm going to date this quite a bit. This is probably not going to be posted like September. But, anyway, yeah, this was a fun one to review. A bit different. I still enjoyed it. Just not a great beer. Anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by. To the next one. Cheers. Oh, yeah, I mentioned the alcohol strength on the palate. Like I said, even drinking this, I'm not getting much in the chest and the stomach, but 8.4%, I can tell it's on the palate, which again is a rarity in this day and age for me to drink another half beer and be like, oh man, that's totally 8.4%. Doesn't happen. Happens today. Anyway, cheers.